predictions. So that's that's action in the service of minimizing surprise or prediction error. But what that means is that my actions are basically enslaved to where they can fulfill my predictions. So they are in the service of fulfilling prophecies. So collectively, action perception is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and in that sense, I think you can find free will. If we are creating our own worlds and our own sensory inputs, we're constructing our sensorium. Who else is doing it? So in that very simple, I won't say deflationary, but simple account of free will, then I can't see how it can be any other way, really.
Mm-hmm. There's something that I've been wanting to study for quite some time, and I've been making extensive notes on, which is self-fulfilling prophecies. I find that to be an extremely interesting area of research. The fact that you can have it's like you have a model of the world, and most of the time what you want to do is make sure that your model comports with reality. But then it's as if there are these blank spots in reality where whatever you think, if you think there's a chair there, then a chair becomes. So I know that that's an extreme example, but what I mean is that if you imagine that your wife loves you, then you're going to act in a manner that makes her love you more. And if you mistrust, then so on and so on. So they're self-fulfilling. So it's as if there's these lacunas in the world that whatever you think is there becomes there. And I wanted to know what your free energy principle had to say about self-fulfilling prophecies. I imagine quite a lot, but not sure if we have enough time. Do you have any quick notes on?
Well, I mean, the way that you just articulated that is spot on from the point of view of the free energy principle. So we often use the phrase action is there to realize and fulfill the prophecies supplied by the brain. It is literally a way of creating your own sensorium in virtue of self realizing and self-fulfilling prophecies. I think that, and the question is, can you keep on doing that in the face of a particular environment that may allow you to do that or may not? And in particular, if you're doing it with lots of other people who are also trying to pursue and self-fulfill their prophecies. So,
like, what are the limitations of it?
Yeah. So I think that's absolutely right, and it also speaks to seeing stuff which is not there. Starts to talk, brings us into the world of false inference and delusions and hallucinations, and the kinds of self-fulfilling prophecies of a perceptual sort that people with things like autism or schizophrenia might be subject to. So, you can go too far, but on the other hand, there are many people who now consider perception basically as sort of hallucinations that are entrained by sensory input. That what we actually see is sort of a product of the hypotheses about what best explain what's going on. And there are occasions when we can get those hypotheses wrong, and that we're then subject to illusions, for example, in psychophysics, or hallucinations, and indeed delusions. If we've taken some psychedelic drugs, or that we have conditions such as, say, schizophrenia.
So then, is schizophrenia a pathology of free will?
I don't think so. No. I think it's a pathology of that can be understood as a false inference, but I don't think that there's any aspect of that would enable you to sort of isolate free will as the locus of that false inference. There's certainly a lot of work suggesting that people with schizophrenia, when they are acutely psychotic, may have difficulties inferring who did that. So assignment of agency.